Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, मलनाडु टीवी इंडिया, न्यूज गांव से, संवाद सरोकार न्यूज, भारत न्यूज पोस्ट, organ donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to bring to you every day new topic, and today's our topic is a very interesting topic, and the topic is family versus friends. But before I will go on my main topic, I would like to inform you that today India is observing the Quit India movement. Quit India movement was a movement launched at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee by Mahatma Gandhi on 8th August 1942 during World War II, demanding an end to British rule of India. The Cripps mission had failed, and on 8th August 1942, Gandhiji made a call to do or die, karo ya maro, in his Quit India speech delivered in Bombay at the Goel Tank Maidan. The All India Congress Committee launched a mass protest demanding what Gandhi called an orderly British withdrawal from India. Even though it was at war, the British were prepared to act. Almost the entire leadership of the Indian National Congress was imprisoned without trial within hours of Mr. Gandhi's speech. Most spent the rest of the war in prison and out of the contact with the masses. The British had the support of the Viceroy's Council, All India Muslim League, the princely states, the Indian Imperial Police, the British Indian Army, the Hindu Mahasabha, and the Indian Civil Service. Many Indian businessmen, profiting from heavy wartime spending, did not support the Quit India movement. On this day, we media conference with Lal Goel remembers sacrifices made by freedom fighters for our independence. Now, coming to the main topic, family versus friends. Family is not always blood. It is the people in your life who want you in theirs, the one who accept you for who you are, the one who would do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. Don't prioritize your friends over your family. Friends come and go, but your family will be with you even when you have fallen. One loyal friend is worth 10,000 relatives. In human society, family is a group of people related either by recognized birth or by marriage or other relationship. The purpose of families is to maintain the well-being of its members and of society. Ideally, families would offer predictably structure and safety as members mature and participate in the community. In most societies, it is within families that children acquire socialization for life outside the family and acts as the primary source of attachment, nurturing, and socialization for humans. Additionally, as the basic unit for meeting the basic needs of its members, it provides a sense of boundaries for performing tasks in a safe environment, ideally builds a person into a functional adult, transmits culture, and ensures continuity of humankind with precedents of knowledge. Anthropologists generally classify most family organizations as matrifocal, a mother and her children; patrifocal, a father and his children; conjugal, a wife, her husband, and his children, also called the nuclear family; avuncular, for example, a grandparent, a brother, sister, and her children; or extended parents and children co-resides with other members of parents' family. Members of the immediate family may include spouses, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. Members of the extended family may include aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, and siblings-in-law. Sometimes these are also considered members of the immediate family, depending on an individual's specific relationship with them, and the legal definition of immediate family varies. Friendship is a relationship of mutual affection between people. It is a stronger form of interpersonal bond than an association and has been studied in academic fields such as communication, sociology, social psychology, anthropology, and philosophy. Various academic theories of friendships have been proposed, including social exchange theory, equity theory, relation dialectics, and attachment styles. Although there are many forms of friendship, some of which may vary from place to place, certain characteristics are present in many types of such bonds. Such characteristics include choosing to be with one another, enjoying time spent together, and being able to engage in a positive and supportive role to one another. Based upon the report of teachers and mothers, 75% of preschool children had at least one friend. This figure rose to 78% through the fifth grade as measured by co-nomination as friends, and 55% had a mutual best friend. About 15% of children were found to be chronically friendless, reporting periods without mutual friends at least 6 months. When it comes to comparing friendships and familial relationships, know that the quality of the relationship is a key component of how meaningful, supportive, and fulfilling a relationship is. This means that whether you are mostly close with your friends or your family, you can still experience loving, healthy, and respectful relationships. There is no better when it comes to a familial relationships to friendship. Relationships are all different and will vary based on unique circumstances. A fairer comparison would be to ask yourself which relationships are healthier. Healthy relationships may be absent amongst your family, but not amongst your friendships, or vice versa. One big difference between family and friends is that your family members' relational label will not change even if you have an argument. Your sibling, parent, aunt, or cousin will always maintain that relational label even if you become estranged. With friendships, if you have a falling out, your relationship status can change and you may end up completely disconnected. In some families, there is more of an undertone that no matter what, family is family, and issues may be prioritized for resolution, while this may not be the case with some friendships. Both family and friends can be caring, loving, irreplaceable, and maintain their relationship with you through the ups and downs of life. While some families are open, loving, and warm, others can be cold, abusive, and neglectful. Unlike with friendships, especially if you are a minor, families can feel more difficult to remove yourselves from. Family relationships may also be associated with more complex issues, hierarchical disparities, and circumstances where one may feel indebted to another, while healthy friendships have an even power structure. If you feel like your friends have replaced your family or that you prefer your friends to your family, know that you are not alone. Many individuals turn to friends when they have difficulties with their family members or feel as if their friends are more trustworthy and understand them better than family members do. You have control over who you choose to surround yourself with friend-wise, but that is not the case when it comes to family. Being able to choose friends who support and accept you may feel a lot different when compared to your family relationships. Family members can also be considered friends. There is no rule stating that a family member can't also be a friend. You may have a cousin close to in age, a sibling who you consider to be a best friend, or another family member like uncle, aunt, or anyone else, even father, mother, who you feel like you can truly confide in. Relying more on a family member or friend will depend on your unique situation. Some individuals have an unhealthy family situation and prefer to rely on friends, have a more difficult time making and or maintaining friendships, and may rely more on family members. Research indicates that friendships, especially for adults, predict better health outcomes than familial relationships do. Having solid, reliable friendships was more closely tied to feeling happier and healthier. With that said, every circumstance is unique, and it's up to you to figure out which relationships in your life feel fulfilling, supportive, and loving, regardless if they are with a family member or friend. Relationships with friends and family members are unique to each individual. Know that there is no right or wrong way to have healthy and meaningful relationships, whether that means being closer to your friends or family members. So today the topic is family versus friend, and my introduction is, I think I have tried to give both the aspects about the family and the friends, and I know that it is not easy for my panelists to speak today because their families and their friends might be watching very closely, and they want to know whether they are going to criticize family or the friends, or they are just taking a diplomatic, politically correct way that they will neither go for family and friend. But my request to all the three panelists, please be trustworthy, speak truth. This is the time when you can speak from your heart. Don't think that your family or your friends will feel bad. Because because you are a Gen Next, you are not a generation of mine, which has now almost finished their innings. You are going to play a long inning. So please be frank, give your views, and let afterwards take the bouquet or bats from your family and friends. So now I would like to welcome, because today our panelists are young, energetic, those who have done something in their own fields, and they will be expressing their views. So today I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and she is Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel. Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel is the Associate Dean of University of North Florida, Jacksonville, USA. She is a professor of information systems with an established record in teaching, research, and administration. She received her PhD in decision and information sciences from the University of Houston. She holds a master's in computer science from the University of Houston. She is a master's in computer applications from the University of Pune, India. Her research is at the intersection of technology, organizations, and human behavior. She has over 50 articles published in top-tier reputed journals and other 60 conference presentations. She has received the Web of Science High Impact Research Award, an Innovator in Education Award, and was named a Mover and Shaker of Northeast Florida. Welcome, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel on our show. Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, you have heard what I have spoken in my opening remarks. And I know it's not easy for you all to speak on this very, very delicate but very important subject, because today the young generation, those who are even, we say the millennial generation, or those who are even below 10 years or 5 years, they should understand the values of the families, and they should also understand the importance of the friends. So it's a very, very thin line which is separating both the relationships. But if you are frank enough, give your opinions. So Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, please, on family versus friends.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. Your introduction about the topic was very, very comprehensive, and my views, instead of taking the side of family or friends or being diplomatic, my views are really informed by my research. Like you said, my research touches a lot on human behavior, and my PhD was on the topic of learning. So I have had a chance to look at some of the theories that you mentioned, like the social exchange theory, social learning theory. And that's really where relationships become important. A human being cannot personally experience everything that they have to experience to be able to live a full life in this world. So we learn things from other people's experience. And as children, we learn from our family, we learn from our parents. They tell us not just what is safe and unsafe, what is dangerous and not dangerous, but also what is right and wrong, right? Those are the things that we get from our immediate family. But our family is also limited. So there's also a theory which talks about the strength of ties. And from our strong ties, these are the people that we interact with very often. These are the people we trust. These are the people that are our family. What we get is a lot of very rich information, but it is limited because we all share the same context. So we have to rely on weak ties, people that are not in our immediate family, to tell us stuff that we don't know, to tell us different things, to give us new information. And that's where the value of friendships come in, right? These are people that may have been in different contexts, and it's important to make friends that don't look like you, that don't speak like you, that don't dress like you, just so that you can get that other perspective. So the study that you mentioned, I also looked at it. It was published in 2017, so it's fairly recent, from Michigan State University. It said that as you grow older, your friendships become more important than your family. And it's for that reason, because your family will always be, hopefully, if you come from a loving and a warm family, your family members will always be your cheerleaders. And you need cheerleaders in your life for mental health, for support. But you also need truth tellers. You also need people to tell you when maybe you're not strong in some places, or you need to improve yourself, or you've made mistakes. And for that, you need people that are not that close to you, that are not afraid of hurting your feelings, that are not afraid of letting you down. And that's, so as you grow older, you need those truth tellers in your life as well, and friendships become important. So the mental health aspect is important. And we've now found that even your physical health, so things like your stress levels, things like the rate of heart attacks, even your age, how long you live, is predicated by how many positive relationships you have in your life. So the quality matters more than the quantity. Few very close relationships matter a lot more than a lot of not that great relationships, right? So the positive relationships will help you live a longer, fuller, happier life. And it doesn't matter, like you said in your introduction, your family members can bring that friendship too. I'm lucky that I have a big family, and within the family, I have several people that I really look at as friends. They're closer to me in terms of friends than some of my friends are, so I just was lucky that they're family, so they're sort of ready-made friends, if you will, right? One of the things that I thought that you missed in your introduction, though, was that friendships can also be toxic. People choose some friends sometimes for the wrong reasons, right? So there are theories like social desirability theory, which says that you seek friends because you want to be like somebody, or there's a status symbol, or there's peer pressure, or you want to hang out with the cool kids, right? And those can bring in stress and toxicity to your life also, just like family can, right? So it's not that all friends, just because you choose friends, you choose them for the right reasons and they're always good. Sometimes friendships can also bring negativity, right? Another thing I want to mention, so we talked about positive versus negative relationships, and positive relationships doesn't matter if it's family or friends, they're obviously better than negative relationships. But ambivalent relationships, so relationships that are neither positive or negative, are actually harmful also, right? So as we grow older, we have to be very thoughtful and intentional about weeding out people that are not positive. If they're not bringing anything to your life, if they're ambivalent, then they're a drain on your resources, whether it's physical and mental resources, or sometimes even financial resources, right? You have to be really thoughtful about, what is that relationship, if it's really positive, going forward. And that's when you get into that gray area of family, right? Because if a relationship is not positive, do you just cut somebody out? Where's that sense of obligation, right? Where is that caregiving? And that's how humans are different from other mammals, because in other mammals that sense of obligation doesn't exist. A mammal has a baby just because that's biology, and you have a baby grows up and moves away. In human beings, there's this sense of, well, I raised you, so you take care of me when I'm old, right? And this is very peculiar to humans. And that's I think, like you said, it depends, on the individual, it depends on the family, it depends on the culture, the society, whether you're from a collectivist society or an individualistic society. The sense of obligations differ between these contexts. So this is not an easy topic to talk about, but I think what's important is the focus on relationships, rather than whether the context of the relationship is the family or the friend. The relationship is what's important, and if you have good relationships, you're better off in life for sure.
Okay. Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel has mentioned many things, but still she has also not giving a clear stand whether she stand with family or friend. So the score is still 0-0. I will not give any, or 0.5, 0.5. But what she says, I would just highlight 1 or 2 points. She says that family teaches right and wrong, because initially only the family is there. But the new information comes from the friends, which family is not giving. Many times family is hiding those information, or they are not interested to give those information, thinking that the child is not ready to take those informations, but the friends are always trying to share those information. But she says, as when you become older, there is a research she has quoted of 2017, University of Michigan, and she says then that friends become more important, and because due to the friends, you can have your mental health as well as physical health. Which nowadays it is coming that if you have a positive friends, your physical and mental health will be good. But she again mentioned about that the family is your cheerleaders. They always try to see that you should grow, and they will always behave like a cheerleader. But friends are who will tell you on your face the truth, where you stand. This family will never say. Family always try to hide the shortcomings of the child, but friends are always, mainly, always, I may say, many of them, exceptions are always there in the family and the friends, but mainly the friends are very truthful. If they will say what is right and what is wrong in your personality. So many times it is good for somebody, but sometimes it is bad, because nobody wants to listen some bitter truth. But that is why the friends are required. But she also mentions that the friends are toxic also sometimes. Yes, we have seen that family members never wants to spoil the child. They would not like you to do anything which they feel morally wrong. But friend feels that this is now the routine. If you have to be in the society, you have to adopt many things which family may not like. So they are the friends. You can term them as a toxic, but it all depends on the individual. If you are strong enough, if you have that moral values which has been inculcated by your family from the childhood, then whatsoever toxic your friend may be, that toxic friend will become without, and I will not say intoxicated, but yes, his toxication will be removed with the peer mentorship of yourself. So friendship with a toxic or non-toxic fellow makes hardly any difference, in my opinion. But what Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel says, that relationships which are positive, they are very good. But many times the relationship which became sore in the families, they can drain your resources. They can drain your resources mentally, physically, financially, and one can undergo heart attacks. One can go lots of problems. Although I also had a heart attack, but to be very frank, I have no such type of family relationship that has become made me for that. But one thing is very clear. What she says is whether you have a family relationship or friendship relationship, it should be always positive. If there's a positive relationship, one can grow like anything. So one has to be very, very careful. One cannot choose the family because the family we have no choice of ours. But you can very well choose your friends. So one has to be very, very careful when you are choosing the friends and see to it whatsoever the values you have, you can pass on those values even to your friends. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, although you have not taken the stand which I wanted. So I will again term you as a diplomatic. You yourself use the word diplomatic. So let's hope the other two panelists may give some things which will be able me to act as a devil's advocate. Now, now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Rotarian Ritika Gupta. Rotarian Ritika Gupta is the CEO of Ma Saraswati Hospital, Mathura. She is a Bachelor in Engineering IT from Pune University and MBA Finance from ICAFI University, Hyderabad. She worked with HDFC Bank in the credit department. She is working closely with her family educational venture of Gyan Mahavidyalaya and chain of industrial training institutes, ITIs. She is keenly interested in fitness and wellness. She is a firm believer of a sustainable lifestyle with fitness for mind and body. She pursues meditation for calmness of the mind and yoga for the fitness of the body. She recently pursued a professional course in face yoga and have started taking coaching for the same. Welcome, Rotarian Ritika Gupta on our show. Rotarian Ritika Gupta, you have heard what Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel said. And the crux of her thoughts are that you have to be very, very positive in both the relationship, whether it's a family or friends. But she has, as I mentioned earlier, she has taken no stand, I will say, very diplomatically, neither this way or not that way. We would like to know from you your views on family versus friends. Rotarian Ritika Gupta, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for having me. First of all, I would like to wish you a very happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And going forward, I would firstly like to say that, man is a social animal who has a lot of social needs and behavioral and psychological needs as well, and is always on a seek for love and happiness. So, that being said, the second fact about mankind is that he has a very short span of time of interest. So, man has very, very, wisely created two lines of family versus friends in their life. So, both, according to me, run parallelly with each other. So there are times when your family is the most important part of your life, and there are other times when friends are the ones who you actually fall back on. So I would like to take you through this, like Professor Lakshmi took us through research. I would like to take you through my personal experience over the years of 35 years of my life. So as far as I remember, when I was a child, my family were my only world, and they were the sole people I looked up to for any kind of emotional or psychological needs. That being said, I can see that in my child who is right now 3 years of age, and he started off with just having family around him, but he's slowly expanding his horizon and he's looking beyond family. He's more comfortable with having people around him, and I may not be the most important person to him right now. So that kind of grows upon us as in how we grow during school. When we are entering our teenage years, that is when we actually realize that our parents are or our family has so many expectations from us that we feel so burdened by their expectations that we actually look out for some kind of comfort or solace outside of family. That is when the friends actually take a front seat, and they become the people who you actually confront all your inner feelings and thoughts with, and they are the ones who you actually, end up going to for any kind of information or any kind of help in your lifestyle. That is when probably I also faced a time in life when I was in my teens, when I thought that my family was not, even though they were talking about everything in my best interest, but it still did not seem so, because it came to me as a burden of expectations that they had from me to be a perfect, person or perfect child that they wanted me to be. But my friends, they did not judge me for anything like that. And in fact, they were the ones who you go to for actually fun and, getting over the mundane situations of your life. So that was the phase of my life wherein I probably thought that my parents or my family were not in my best interests. And, my friends were my better people to be with. That continued for a longer time. And, as you enter college, you stay home and your friends become your immediate family, who are constantly aware of where you are and what you're up to. And your family, kinds of takes a back seat, because they are the ones who you speak with on a much lower level, because you end up speaking them maybe say once or twice a week or so. There was a time in my life where I was not as connected, but I was more connected with my friends, because they were the ones who I was living with, and they were the ones who were aware about everything in my life. Not my parents. They were just aware of the macro factors, which included my education or my well-being. But the emotional bond with my friends during my college years was much more stronger than it was with family. After that, I realized now, having entered my 30s, I realized that it's family that really plays a very important role in your life, because they are the ones who stand with you through thick and thin. You can always have a lot of friends who change over time, your friendships which go through different phases and of, ups and downs in your life, but your family is the constant that, just creeps through all of your ups and downs and stays with you as they were when you were a child. They never, now I can say that I was so wrong when I thought that they were the ones who were judging me and were burdening me. But now I feel they were just trying to mold me into a better individual or a better human being that I feel I probably am today because of what my parents or my family imparted to me. The friends actually take over your life at a much later stage in your life. So friends have much lesser intervention in actually shaping who you are than what your family does. I want to be that kind of an influence in terms of family. I want to, kind of remove that kind of burdens of expectations that a child feels that family has on them, and which is why they tend to distance themselves from family. Which is why I think I would want to be a force that is more, understanding of my child or of anyone who I'm around. So my stand probably is that I think family is more important than your friends, because your friends, your relations with friends keep changing over time. And it's family that stays with you through thick and thin, and they are the ones who sail with you to times, till infinity. So that is my stand on the topic.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Ritika Gupta, for taking a strong, I will say, clear stand that the family is more important than the friends. And what she says is the man is a social animal. And she says initially when a child born and the initial stages, it's the family which is always there. So the child always feel the family is more important. Afterwards, when she or the child start going to the school, then the child finds that there is some other world is also there, and then the child come to know many more things, and that's why the friends becomes more important at that stage. And when you grow as comes to the high school or higher secondary or sometime like that, at that time you feel that no, parents are very strict, the family is very strict. So at that time you in her opinion, what she says is that the family become on the back seat, and the friends become in the front seat, and the friends say that they are the more important than and friends become everything in the life at that stage. But again, when you grow further more and married or have your own kid, that time you realize that friend may come and go, but the family will remain family. And she says at that time we found that only the family is there, who are there always thick and thin, and who always be there to comfort you, solace you if of any problem you face. And but the friends will be changing time to time. So according to her, the family is more important than the friends. Thank you very much, Rotarian Ritika Gupta, to taking your stand. So now 1.5 versus zero point 0.5, that is family versus friends. Now I am going to thank you very much, Rotarian Ritika Gupta. Now my next panelist guest, she is Dr. Ritika Garg. Now we have two Ritikas today. It's very confusing for me. But anyway, so Dr. Ritika Garg is a founder and designer at the Orki Boutique Jewelry. She aspires to create vintage inspired, enduring fine jewelry that brought together her passion for carefully handcrafted, exquisite creations. Witnessing the change in lifestyle and connecting the heritage with the modern essence, she started with these ideas of Oriki. She is an educationist and a professional in the field of management and personal development. She has more than 9 years of experience in the field of academics and corporate world. She did masters in textiles at the prestigious SNDT University, Mumbai. She has also pursued her MBA from SVPITM, Coimbatore, and attained her doctorate from Banasthali Vidyapeeth. Dr. Garg has a vast experience in the field of education and administrative management. She taught at institutes and universities at Pune, Firozpur, Banasthali, and Jalandhar. Dr. Garg has been instrumental in inculcation and enhancement of various skills among the ladies of the organizations by counseling them to tackle hardships and responsibility they go through. Welcome, Dr. Ritika Garg on our show. Dr. Ritika Garg, you have heard what Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel as well as Rotarian Ritika Gupta has mentioned. And both have taken a stand differently. Although Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel stands are that sometimes family is good, sometimes friends are good. It all depends how you keep your relationship positively. If your relationships are positive with the family is also good. And if your relationships with your friends are positive, then the friends are also good. But that is according to her, it depends on your positive relationships. But what Rotarian Ritika Gupta has taken the stand, she has taken a very, very clear stand. Although she has given her own experience, and she says initially family, then friend, then family, and ultimately it's the only family. So she is very clear that the family is there always thick and thin, not the friends. Friends may come, go, and so now we would like to know from you your views on family versus friends. Dr. Ritika Garg, please.
Good morning, Mr. Goel, and all the media present here. Thank you for being giving me the opportunity to be here, and I would like to share my opinion about the topic. When I actually got this topic, I just tried to Google it, and there were more votes for friends. But I think I will have a more weightage, as Ritika also stated about it. I will give more weightage for family rather than friends. And I personally feel that family is the ultimate survival support system for you, where as friends are important, are absolutely important, but when it comes to support system, they might be there, but they will not be there among all the time when you actually are struggling to do something in your life. When I actually second Ritika also, when you are in your adolescent age or early adult age, you will be, you will have the same desire about among your friends. You will have a same peer group. You will have a same opinion about the things. You will have a same age group, and you feel whatever your friend is saying is the right, correct thing. Whereas when you come to family, there will be some emotional atyachar, and they will try to, just tell you that this is right, this is not right, and you will feel disheartened sometimes why the family is not able to understand you. But the correct thing is, I think, gradually you realize that family actually believes to create your future. That's why they're so concerned about you, your choices, what you're making in your life. Whereas friends are just there to make you feel comfortable, whatever you're choosing. That is not impacting their life further on or towards the late adulthood. Whereas family is really having a very important role to create your future in a better way. The importance of family you will understand with time, absolutely. To impose upon my weightage towards family, I have major 5 factors. That is your trust, your harmony, your reliability, reliability, dependability, support system, and the last one is positive approach towards it. For me, trust is very important, and I think for everyone. The friendship grows gradually, whereas the family is inherited. You can trust your family members. There might be exceptions everywhere, and everyone has their own experiences in their life. But the trust factor which comes from family, you will not be able to trust that easily on your friends. That gradually it will take time to develop your relationship and reach to that point that you develop trust in that. Whereas trusting the family member will be much more easier for your whatever you're thinking or whatever the task you have been given or your day-to-day life. Then it comes to harmony. You spend much more time with your family rather than spending, if you compare the time spent with your friends. So the time you have spent with your family, you understand them better and they understand you better. Rather than if we talk about friends will again take time to make you understand that how they actually feel about certain topic or certain behavior, and you will also take time to understand them about their opinion. So the harmony which comes within family is very easily you can harmonize among family rather than harmonizing in between the friend circle. Your reliability and dependability. I would like to share an incident just happened 3 days back. I was just working in the kitchen. I was making lunch and I burned this hand of mine. And I just rushed to get the paste from the washroom so that I can apply over here. My in-laws saw that Ritika is in hurry and something happened. They rushed to me and my mother-in-law took charge of the kitchen and my father-in-law made ice pack for me. And they were there for me. This is the reliability and dependability. I feel that they were there for me. That's why by the time it was evening, I could actually save my hand and it's absolutely all right. Just a minor burnt it was. But that time, if they were not there, what could have been happened? How the things will go. So I feel the reliability and dependability on the family is very much in terms of if we talk about friends. As you also mentioned about my introduction that I have just founded a company. This is jewelry. It's about vintage inspired jewelry. I could only enter the phase of entrepreneur because my family was there to support me. If my family is not there to support me, if she's not there when I go out and meet the artisans and I just go all around the Jaipur, how will I able to, come up and put in so much of hard work to stand on myself, on my foot and make my this venture successful? I'm working very hard and it is only because I work maybe till 3 o'clock in the night, sometimes 4 also. I'm designing, I'm doing some things, but my family is there to support me. That's why I'm able to do something that put in that hardship in my venture. And that's why I'm very thankful to my family for this. Then it is automatically covers the fourth point of its support system. They are your ultimate support system. Your friends can be there to discuss your problems, but they cannot be your ultimate support system. And then positive approach. People feel, in my personal experience also, when I got married, not everything just happened just in a go, that your relationships are so gelled up. You take time to develop that kind of relationship. One family is inherent, your parents, but when you come to a different family and you start living with them, it doesn't happen just in a time. It took me also 2 to 3 years to have and develop such beautiful relationships in this family, that I assure and I am so positive about it that they will be there for me, whatever happens in life. And when it comes to friend, we always look upon friends outside. Why, as you also, Mr. Goel also stated in the start, that why don't we find a friend in the family? And after 13 years of my marriage, I can proudly say that in today's time, if I have to discuss anything, whether it's personal, professional, it's my better half, Tushar, where I can share anything fearlessly, harmlessly, and he will be giving me the best advice. So the relationship has grown from the spouse to become a best friends. So he will be there for me, and I can share that friendship with him. So this is my, again, the total nutritional value. Whereas friends are vitamins in your life, your family is absolute nutritional value in your life. So these are the five major things which I think majorly, the importance of family. In there might be unique circumstances when you will feel, and there are experiences, bitter experiences in someone's life also, when you feel your family they are not able to understand you. But if on this platform, we have been asked about the personal experience and your personal opinion, I feel family has a more weightage than friends. And having those, if you have senior members around over here, regardless of their current health, they will feel very humbled, and they will feel the sense of belonging if you have a good harmonized environment within your family. And at the same time, the generations who are growing together, they will also feel very rhythmic relationships, which is irreplaceable in among friends, because they will not be there to come out of to take you out from the dig. If you have fallen, they might be available, but they will be available only according to their personal space, their personal timing, rather than your family will be available for you if you have fallen down into anything. So my personal opinion, my weightage goes to family. Family is most important, and they're the ultimate support survival system for me. Thank you. Friends are important, but family is ultimately important. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ritika Garg, for giving your views, and she is also for the family. So the score is now 2.5 versus 0.5. And what she says is, she says the family, there are five things she mentioned about the trust, harmony, support system, reliability, dependability. And she says because the more time one spends with the family, the harmony with the family. And she says because you understand your family members, they understand you more than the friends, because friends will again come and go, and they will never give you those moments with you which your family can give. And she has quoted her own experience of when she started her business of jewelry business. She says the support was given by the family, and that's why she will be able to establish the brand so nicely, and it becomes so popular with no time. But she also mentioned about that how she burned her finger, and she has to rush, and the in-laws were there. I'm sure Dr. Ritika Garg's in-laws might be watching our show, so that's why she has to speak positively. That is the problem in India, that once we are sitting and the families are watching, they can't speak so frankly. But one very important point she says, friends are vitamins and family is a nutrition value. And she says your husband or wife can become your very good friend, depends on how you treat them and how you share with them. So, but she says the family is family. Friends are there, friends are also good, but up to a limit. Thank you very much, Dr. Ritika Garg, for giving your views frankly. And as I mentioned earlier, today you will be getting very good lunch to eat, cooked by your in-laws, not by you, because you are attending the program. Now, coming the question thing. My first question goes to Professor Lakshmi Goel, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel. Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, you have given a view of very, very balanced family and friends. But you see, don't you think it all depends on the situations, the countries, their environment, like you are now based in USA. There, the child start working from the age of 12 to 13 years. And that time, he or she is exposed to the outer world far earlier than what is happening in India. Because India generally, anyone is working when he or she becomes about 20s, in 20s, not even below 20. So the exposure of the friends in USA is at a very, very early age. While in India, it is quite late in, I am saying, the outer world, when you have been thrown outside in the ocean, when you have to survive yourself, whether you are working or you are in a higher studies and whatnot. While in USA, it is not like this. There, we would like to know from you, because you have done the research, what are your views? How you say the importance of the families in USA in comparison to India? What is your take?
So it's not just US versus India. It's more cultural. Like you said, it's a major cultural difference between collectivist societies and individualist societies. Here, parents don't want their children to live with them once they're grown adults. It's seen as a negative thing that if you are able to earn money on your own, you should be able to afford your own rent and live by yourself, right? So parents feel anxious when their children still live with them as grown adults. It's a negative thing, right? So some parts of, you know, what the expectations of the relationship are will change based on things like whether you live under the same roof, right? So when we talk about reliability, someone always being there for you, part of that is just, you know, who is there, right? Is that your father? Is that your mother? Is that your roommate? If you have the same roommate for 20 years, that person will be as reliable to you as your brother who lives in that same house for 20 years, right? So some of it is just the geographic proximity. But I want to add one more angle to the nature of the relationship, right? So with your friends, especially when you age, right? So let's say you have grown children, not toddlers, but children that are already, you know, in university or about to start their careers, right? And you're having issues with your relationship with your children, right? And you have friends that are in similar situations. Those are the people that you can talk to. They share the same context as you, right? Those are not issues that you might be comfortable telling your parents or even your children, right? So your friends, as you grow older, take on this role of being your confidants for issues that you cannot, you know, as easily share with your family. So yes, family has that shared context, but there's a different kind of shared context that comes with people that are your peers, right? They can bring that, they can, you know, be sounding boards in ways that family cannot, and family can be sounding boards in ways that friends cannot, for sure, right? So and that's going back to my balanced view. There's things in each relationship that are unique, and you know, and I guess, you know, my perspective is also different because I don't live with family and I don't live with friends, right? So I get to pick and choose. I have the luxury of picking and choosing who I want to be in touch with and how often, right? And so I really look at each relationship in terms of the value that it brings. And I really think that there is value to every positive relationship, and it's not defined by labels like mother or father or, you know, friend or husband. It's really like, you know, like Dr. Ritika Garg said, like she can talk to her husband about you know, use him as a sounding board, and that's wonderful. But I can bet you that there's a lot of wives that have good relationships with their husbands that cannot do so, right? So it's not the fact that he's your husband, it's the nature of your relationship which is which allows that kind of communication with him. So so I really think, yes, it's unique by culture, it's unique by situation, but it really does come down to also just that individual relationship itself. It doesn't matter whether you're in India or in the US or anywhere. It really just comes down to what is the nature of that communication? What are you getting out of that, right? And I hate to sound like this is a transaction, but it is. Every relationship is a transaction. At the end of the day, we all are born alone and we all die alone, right? Even though man is a social animal, we die alone, right? So over the course of our life, you know, what do we take? We take memories, and we want our memories to be more positive than negative. We want to learn more, and we want to give, and we want to leave behind more positive things than negative. And that's kind of how I look at relationships, whether it's family or friends, right? So what am I taking out of this that's going to serve me well through the course of my short life? And Ritika Goel said that very well. Like, we're here for a very short span of time, right? And we've created these two parallel ways to get our fix, if you will, our social fix. But we kind of have to think about whether it's really bringing us what we need as human beings, or are we just doing it because of an obligation of living under the same roof, or being on a society, or being in a country.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, for giving a quite elaborate answer for my question. And you have clarified the things which people have that idea. Because in India, generally, we always comment. And when I'm doing the media conference, many panelists says, we always follow the things of Western culture, but we forget one thing. There are many good things in the Western culture, as you say, that the independence which inculcate from the very childhood of a child, which is not in India. And that's why, because one of the conference, somebody says in USA, 17, 18 years old can come up with a startups like Facebook, and then they have done some huge thing. But that is only possible because they are working from the age of 12. While in India, the working age starts after 25. So that is one of the reason. And here the family plays an important role, because till 2025, family is supporting, family is paying the money for everything, whether it's a education, whether it's a marriage, whether what's even for luxuries, etc. While in the other countries, it is not like that. Once you are 12, 13, as you, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel has mentioned, then you want to enjoy, you want your luxury, you want to spend your weddings, earn money, spend. Don't look towards your family. That is the main crux of what. Thank you very much. Now I would like to go to Rotarian Ritika Gupta. You says families are very important. And I just want to put a caveat here. I am acting as a devil's advocate. So I have to ask you some question. Uncomfortable. In India, if you just see the records, or the out of 100% cases, 80% cases are civil nature, 20 are criminal. Out of 80% of civil cases, 60% are for the fight for the properties among family members. If the family is so important, why so many court cases are going on? Why litigations? Why not among the friends? That is, you say the family is important, but we are fighting like a cat and dog. Why? So now I want to know your views. If the family is so important, why we are fighting with each other? Rotarian Ritika Gupta, please.
Thank you so much for your question, Mr. Goel. It is a very difficult question to answer, but I would like to answer it in a way that it actually depends on your outlook towards things. So people tend to fight, or fight for something that they want when they feel that is being taken away from them. If you have a more positive outlook of actually sharing, or looking at everything in a more positive perspective, you will realize that not everything is about property, and it's not even that, it's just the family that's fighting. At times, there's so many professional relationships or partnerships that happen outside of family. They are also a part of these civil cases, wherein there are two friends who started off with any venture, but things did not go well, and they ended up in a civil suit. So that is what probably the civil suits or the cases that you're talking about solely do not cover the family perspective of it. They also cover the partnerships.
Rotarian Gupta, that's why I mentioned very clearly that 60% out of those 80%, the maximum cases are among the family disputes. The balance 20% are where the friends or the partnerships or the other disputes with other parties. But family disputes are the maximum in India. That is why I'm asking. And I will tell you one thing. If you see the same thing in USA or other countries, negligible family disputes. Yes, please go ahead.
So in India, we have such large families who have a stake in the, the ancestral property or the ancestral pass-ons, that they happen to, kind of fight for their stand in it. It is solely for that reason that the number of cases in India, as you're citing, are much higher than any other countries abroad. It is solely because of the nature that we depend. Just one second.
Okay.
That we depend on,
No problem. No problem. If your child would like to come, fine, because we are talking of family and friends. So it should not happen that you will try to do something, then he will revolt against you and he will say the friends are more important than the family. Anyway, thank you very much, Rotarian Ritika Gupta, for your views. You have rightly said, yes, we have a joint family. And now, my question goes to Dr. Ritika Garg. As Rotarian Ritika Gupta mentioned about large families, means the joint families. Then, if it is so, why all this new generation wants to go for nuclear family? If you see in India today, that's totally changed scenario what we used to have about 40 or 50 years back. So it clearly shows that nobody wants, and it's not like this that you are staying in a different city or a country. Even in the same city, people would like to be in the nuclear family. They don't want to stay in the joint family. And you are saying the joint family is very good. And one more thing, you might have seen the Saas Bahu saga of that famous our Bahu became even the union minister today. So why it is? Because everywhere there are not that easy rosy picture which we are trying to show that family is everything. But in my opinion, family is not good. If the family is so good, why in the same city people want to live separately? Or even if they are staying in the same complex, their kitchens are different, their everything is different. Dr. Ritika Garg, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goel, for your question. Actually, for me, I think, in my opinion, everything starts with the expectations. If you are expecting something, you might be judging the thing and about the nuclear family or a joint family. That's a major question. First of all, we say whenever we have problem or difference of opinion, we always mention, I try to ignore that person, whether it is a Saas or whether it is a Bahu for Saas or whether any relationship among the family. It is not ignorance, never ignore. Rather, the person is not going to change. It is their mindset. Rather, accept it positively and respect your acceptance. That is a major loophole out here to live happily and harmonizing together. Your expectation to everyone has been set. You expect the other person to do something. You expect the third person to do something, and they are also expecting the something from you because you are expecting. You are not accepting their views about the thing. Rather, you are just imposing your opinion about the certain task or a thing or certain discussions. So it is, if we talk about the joint family and a nuclear family, again, I feel people are going towards joint family. It was a phase in between where people had started to live in nuclear family. Again, in India, people are going towards joint family. If I talk about Jaipur, out here, we had gone for a purchase of a 2 BHK flat. We just wanted to have a look. And over there, we have seen that most of the builders have converted their 2 BHKs into 4 BHK because only two brothers wants to live together in 4 BHK rather than having two different flats. So people are again going towards joint family. It was a time in between where people were running for nuclear family. So if you don't expect the expectation will be less, and you are respecting the other person who are living with you, I think we can overcome any problem, whatever we feel or face in joint family.
Okay. Okay. So you are going for the joint family. It says that phase is changing. All the data is not saying we are, when we talk of the entire country, the data says that people are going more and more for the nuclear family. But we are happy that at least joint family concepts are coming back. Now, my question goes to Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel. Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, everybody talks about the families. Only the family member can emotionally blackmail you, not the friend. What you say about that?
I think even friends can anyone can emotionally blackmail you. Your PhD advisor can emotionally blackmail you, you know. So it's how much power you give to that other person in the relationship, right? It's how important you make that other person in your relationship. Your best friend can emotionally blackmail you. That happens a lot. I mean, you talked about, like in the US, the effects of early socialization. And I teach at a university, so I don't really see young kids, but I see a lot of kids come in for their bachelor's degree. And I see, you know, just being around campus, I observe some of the social dynamics. And they're not all positive, you know, there's very subtle bullying amongst even just groups of girls. You know, there is, you know, so emotional blackmail may not be it may not be explicit. You know, it can be very subtle. It can be very insidious. It can be very, you know, it just under subtext. You have to read between the lines, but it happens a lot. I think with family members, if it, you know, and it can also be very indirect in families too. I mean, you mentioned the whole Saas Bahu relationship. You know, on the face of it, it could be, you know, we love each other, but there's a lot of subtext and drama when you read between the lines. So I think, you know, one of the things that Dr. Garg said, you know, it's really about communication, right? So if you want to take charge of the relationship, you know, if you start feeling that things are going down that route, it's a good idea to sit down and try to clear the air and say, you know, this is what you say, but this is what I think you're saying. You know, so let's make sure that we are on the same page. If you're saying this, do you really mean this, or are you trying to emotionally, you know, supercharge the situation in some other direction? And you know, if you have the choice, a lot of people don't have the choice when it comes to family to walk away or to sever a relationship, right? But if you do have the choice, you know, if it gets to the point where it's emotionally draining, the number one cause of death across the world, it's not heart attacks, it's not accidents. The number one cause of death is stress. And the number one cause of stress is more mental than physical, right? It's more stuff to do with not just work stress, but also family stress, you know. And if happiness is important to you, if living a full life is important to you, then you should be willing to make that choice and walk away from a stressful relationship, right? Again, whether it's a family member or a friend, you know, whoever is giving you that emotional heartache, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah.
So, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel, as usual, you are only taking a middle path. You, according to you, it's all depends on who is going to emotionally blackmail you. Thank you very much. Now, my question goes to Rotarian Ritika Gupta. Rotarian Ritika Gupta, you said the families are good, but don't you think, as a young, tech-savvy person, you means I'm talking of your generation, would like to do something of their own in a big way, but there are, you feel the family burdens. They say, no, you don't know this. Why you are going in this venture? This is very risky. We are experienced. Yesterday only I did one program. Is work experience sorry, I am, is you can say redundant for now, or irrelevant for now. Now, in that, the speaker says the work experience or the experience was good at one time. Now, with the new tech savviness, new knowledge, new teaching methods, the child who grows, he would like to venture out in a big way with their own thoughts. But when you are in a family, you will not be allowed to fly as you want. While in other countries, as I mentioned earlier, that how they have come up, so many startups have come and they become unicorn and whatnot, and how they have become very successful. They because they have that culture to grow, and that is because of the peer mentorship there. Because very few family members are putting this thing, but here it is even if the peer mentorship is there and peers are saying that okay, you go for this, but you, because you are listening for your family, what you say about that?
Mr. Goel, I think that, if your family, if you say, for example, I am a tech savvy person who wants to venture out into a startup, so my family is definitely going to question my intentions, and so will my friends. But my family questioning me will be of more importance, because they are the people who I want to ensure are 100%, they have belief in everything that I want to pursue, because they are the ones who can also be stakeholders in my venture. Convincing my friends about what I'm wanting to do can be just for a question and answer session, wherein I convince them what I'm trying to do, and they can maybe have a rebuttal discussion with me. But when my family is questioning me like that, they are the ones who I actually have to convince, because they can be stakeholders. They are also stakeholders, considering if I live with them, then they are the ones who are going to be going through my mood swings when I'm actually in that venture. So I think that if your family is actually questioning you, they are doing it for your own benefit, and you actually end up getting another perspective of it, and they are sharing their experiences. Your peers in that case, they may not be as experienced, considering age or considering exposure in that particular field. Or they may just since they are not the stakeholders as well, they may just be doing it out of inquisitiveness. But your family will have a more genuine interest in actually knowing what you're up to, because they want the best for you, come what may. And I say that out of my own experience, wherein my brother is going through that phase of having a startup of his own, and we have a discussion with family day in and day out about how to take things forward and how not. But this is not the discussion that he goes on to have with friends, because yet again, as I'm repeating myself, because they are not the ones who are the stakeholders in it. He definitely questions them and discusses with them, because he wants their outlook on it as well. But it is a more intense discussion that we have with family than with friends. So basically, my answer to that is that your family questions you because they are the stakeholders as well, as compared to a example that you cited and the quotation that you gave for countries abroad. Your family does not really have a lot of stake in what you go forward with, whether it's a success or whether it's a failure. So they just let you be, and you feel the independence of doing it. But with the specifically for India, wherein your family is more involved in the matters, they let you be yourself, they let you be independent. But after having cleared their doubts about what you're venturing into and whether you will go through it, or just giving their view or their opinion on, maybe you may not be able to go through it. But so that is how I think the countries abroad are doing more better in actually taking off at a much earlier age. But then yet again, Indians are no behind, no far behind in startups. And probably India is one country right now wherein there are so many startups, and they're all coming from young people who are in their 20s. Most of the startups that we talk about are from youngsters itself. So that is what my stand on it is.
Okay, thank you very much, and Ritika Gupta, for giving your views. I'm sure your family members might be enjoying today listening to you, because you are always talking so positive. Thank you very much. Now I will go to Dr. Ritika Garg. Dr. Ritika Garg, if family is so important, you as well as Roti and Ritika Gupta said, then why you are looking for, you means the generation looking for more friends on Facebook, Instagram, etc., and always busy on that instead of spending time with their family, listening to them, their own experiences. How many of today's of your generation or the new generation knows the history of your own families? Because today the new generation, and I'm not saying from myself, I'm saying because I'm doing this media conference every day, and I know the panelists spoke that today's generation are not aware what their grandfather or grandmother has done. So when you are saying that family is important, but today come to the reality. We are not talking of an individual Dr. Ritika Garg. Come to the reality. The reality world is that generations are only spending time on Facebook and YouTube and whatnot, making friends, chatting with them 4, 4, 5, 5, 8 hours. And the family are saying, please don't do this. It's very harmful. But no, you are not listening. You means the generation. Why? Dr. Ritika Garg, please.
Mr. Goel, to your question, my answer is networking. I think you will not find a real treasurer friend out there on social networking site, or there might be just out of 1,200 or 1,500 of your friends on Facebook, there might be just genuine 3 or 4 friends who will be connected to you other than Facebook on your calls or on your personal chat or your personal space as well. While when you are going to Facebook, you are spending time because those 1,200 or 1,500 people out of at least 800 daily giving you content to read or write. That's why people are spending more time on social media. And networking is very important when you are venturing into something, whether you are doing something of your own and you want to be connected with yourself and with your people whom you have been connected. I had, I think, 1,300 friends on Facebook. And out of that, I think some major percentage of that friends comes from my students who are connected to me otherwise, and they share personal problems with me on my personal messenger or my chat, and they want some kind of solution. So I want to be connected. And recently I have started giving some positive thoughts per day or in between the intervals. It is only to be staying connected with those students because I want to be connected with them. It is not always that you are finding friends. It is networking, and you want to help people, and you want to help society, and you want to stay connected with the outside world. You don't want to be in your shell at home. Being in shell at your home, it is very comfort zone. You want to come out of comfort zone, and you want to try to spend time and look for the reality of outside world as well. If I go out to artisans or if I go out to work, I need to know what is going on in the society and what people are liking and what people are disliking, what is their opinion about it. During the pandemic time, you will not get anything better than social media to learn about the opinion and learn about their views about certain thing or whatever the subject is what you are looking for. So it is giving you the proper platform to judge you, to judge the people, and to share among their opinion and to value their things what they are actually valuing. So it is totally networking.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ritika Garg. Although there is some contradiction, because if you are saying that there's many students are asking your opinion on your advice, it shows that they are not satisfied with their family, and that's why they are looking for some peer mentorships, and that's why they are coming to you. Anyway, thank you very much. Now my question goes to Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel. You have heard what both of Ritikas have mentioned, Dr. Ritika Garg as well as Rotarian Ritika Gupta. Now about the networking, in my opinion, networking nothing but you have lots of others who are not your family members. So it means you are looking from outside. Rotarian Ritika Gupta says about the stakeholder. Very few family members are putting the stakes, but today the condition is if you want to come out with a startup, generally the money is coming from those who are not your family members. They are coming from outside. So we would like to know now from you, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Gupta, is networking is more important or your family is more important?
So this goes back to the theory of strong versus weak ties, right? So your strong ties, and again, I'm not putting it as family versus friends. Strong ties can be friends too, right? And weak ties can be family too. You can have a first uncle that you haven't spoken to in 30 years, and that's a weak tie, right? Or you could have a childhood friend that's still very close to you that you talk to every day, and that's a strong tie. But you need both of these kind of ties because they bring different value to you. Your weak ties bring you new information. Your weak ties bring you a context that's not familiar. So let's say that you've just graduated and you're looking for a job, right? Your strong ties will not get you the job because all the information that your strong ties have, you already have. You already know those people, you already know those opportunities. You're talking to them every single day. If they had a job for you, you would have already applied for it. So the new information comes from your weak ties, right? It's people that are in your extended network that will say, hey, I know about this job in this other company. Why don't you apply there, right? Your strong ties will give you the recommendation, but it's your weak ties that will bring in that new information, right? So there's absolutely a role for weak ties. That new information is a part of it, new opportunities is a part of it. So even when you're looking at things in the context of a startup, for example, right? One of the biggest things we teach for entrepreneurs is the idea of a blue ocean strategy. Find a niche, right? Find something that doesn't exist. The only way you will know about blue oceans is if you have weak ties, if you have conversations with people that are not in your immediate context, right? When we talk about stakeholders, I mean, there's financial stakeholders, people that invest in your company, right? But I think what Ritika Gupta was talking about were emotional stakeholders, right? And that can be positive or negative. Sometimes, the line of questioning that your family goes through is not for the benefit of fact checking or making sure that things are fine. It's just, we say that we're playing devil's advocate, but we're really trying to kind of, hold people back or being risk averse, right? And sometimes entrepreneurship is about taking risks, right? So I mean, I can come up with 20 reasons for not to do something. I don't need, my brother telling me the same 20 things. So sometimes, that idea of being a sounding board can be a negative thing. And again, I'm not, it's not about family versus friends. Friends can also, try to hold you back and be risk averse, right? So, but yes, if your family is putting money into your venture, or your friend is putting money into your venture, or a stranger is putting money into your venture, yes, they have a right to ask you questions, right?
Okay.
So kind of going back to, is there value to networking? Absolutely there is. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Rotarian Ritika Gupta, now, according to you, the family is ultimate. It means now when you are bringing your child, you will see to it that he should not or she should not go and meet the friends more often, because you have seen in your time that when you are child, you are with family, then when you are growing up, you are with friends. So you will try to put more control as a mother, or you would like to give free hand, which your parents have not given. We've only 1 minute, please, because the time is short.
That is absolutely not what I mean when I say that, I value family more than friends. It just means that they are a stronger support system, and that, the trust factor in your family is much more than what it is in your friends. In fact, my, take on that would be that I would try to not be that overburdening parent who is actually, kind of driving away any kind of person who comes in contact with me by, putting my expectations on them. Instead, I would just try to be a more calmer person who tries to, be like, I should be the friend that he looks for outside, rather than being just a mother or just a parent. Like how, you yourself said that we end up having friends and family as well. So that is what I mean when I said that family is more important.
Okay, thank you very much. Last, Dr. Ritika Garg, according to you, family is the best. But what advice now you would like to give because you being a counselor also, what advice you would like to give to the younger generation, that how they, so that they will value the family? Because what we are seeing is, I have done a program on generation gap, and then the young generation says, we know what is today, what is happening today, but the elders are not understanding. They might be educated, they might be financially sound, but they don't know what is the need of the day. So what is your advice? 1 minute, please.
Yeah, Mr. Goel, to my advice for the younger generation or the generation who would like to gel up in between the family is to have a positive approach towards people and understand and accept what they are thinking. Just don't try to ignore what I have said earlier also. Your acceptance towards within your family is very important. And I would like to second Professor Goel also, if the relationship is toxic, please walk away. Don't stand and just wait for the right time to come, but you try and give your best to just make it right. But just don't lose hope very early, and try to accept your, respect your acceptance and give emotionally balanced view and positive approach in the life. Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. So viewers, today you have seen, today's topic is very, very complicated or very easy. It all depends how you see, but the views given by the three panelists are very, very important. And they are very, very clear. One has to have a positive relationship, whether family or with the friends. If you have positive relationship with your family, then then you are going to be a very, very in a very comfortable zone. But if you have a positive relationship with your friends, then definitely your mental and health will improve like anything. And as one of the panelists mentioned, the toxic friendship, one has to be very, very careful today, because nowadays we have seen how the young generations are going towards drugs and all those things because of that toxic friendship. No family would like to tell you to go and use the drugs. This is the only thing. But only one problem comes when the child sees that there is no solace, nobody is listening from the family, then he or she turns towards those drugs or other habits. So one has to be very, very careful. If you have children, please be careful. You have to give them the way you have to treat them as friend. Because if you know what are the positive thing of a friend, even if you are parents, take the child and treat them as a friend, not treat them as your younger small child, or even for the siblings. Please treat them as a friend. If you understand what they want, what the child wants, then you will understand, and then you will give the proper thing which is required today. We have seen what is happening in USA, what is happening in other countries, and what is happening in India. But one can very well say, still India is having lots of cultural values with us. We can go and we can do many more big things. Only thing is the family has to adjust themselves. They should not dictate their terms to their younger ones without thinking what mental harm or the physical harm they are putting to them. And the children or the young generation should also think positively that the family is never going to give any advice which is against your benefit. So the family is always with you. Friends are also always with you. So the thing is very clear. Family and friends both are required in the society in a positive way. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. But today, there is no topic today because I'm traveling. So I will be seeing you only on Tuesday morning session of media conference with Lal Goel with a new topic. So we will see you at that time. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goel. I'm very sorry I know that today is the time in USA right now where you are is 2:30 in the morning. So please go and have a good sleep and have a good Sunday. And thank you very much, Rotarian Ritika Gupta. And thank you very much, Dr. Ritika Garg, for giving your views. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. Thank you very much.